Alright guys, 22 more movies that we are going to talk about to cap off my big 2022 movie ranking. So hyped, aren't you guys? These are the 22 best movies, the best of the best. Now, in case you can't tell, I believe it is, let's see, oops. I believe it's not until number 13 that these movies get to what I feel is the best of the year. But these other movies, they're better than a lot of the movies that we've already talked about, definitely. This one's going to be a longer video, and so let's get into talking about it right now. But you guys know what to do. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below your ranking. What is your best movies of 2022? This is the 22 best movies of 2022. Are you guys ready? Let's get it kicked started with number 22, The Black Phone. And this is one that I really was looking forward to. I thought the trailer looked absolutely phenomenal and crazy. Then I sat back and I watched the movie and I was like, yeah, this is okay. There's an intriguing mystery at stake here. The cast here is really good and it's really creepy. But what about the supernatural element? What's good in the supernatural element? Nothing, because not only does it not explain why the grabber does this, but it never explains why Finn can use the phone. It should have explained why he can use a phone. They set up a mystery and they just forget about the mystery along the way. Do you know how much that takes you out of the movie? A movie that I really wanted to see, that was good in a lot of ways. But if it had that ending of the mystery, if it had the more supernatural elements that I was hoping this movie had, it just did not work in that aspect. It's fun in a way. It's a fun slasher movie. Cool kills. Very creepy. Ethan Hawke. But it's just a movie that's, okay, yeah, it should have been so much better. 21, The Man from Toronto. The movie starring Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson. This is absolutely a hilarious blast because, man, these two have great chemistry. And what did we talk about yesterday with Day Shift? Day Shift is just a movie that is capped full with great action. This movie has phenomenal action. The action in this movie is absolutely phenomenal, and I loved watching every action set piece because it's very well choreographed in a very fun way. And with Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson's combination of acting, they are absolutely phenomenal and made this movie just to be one of the most memorable experiences on Netflix. That's what this movie is. Now, we do got to talk about the plot here, because the plot here is also a really big standout. I am a big sucker for plots where a bunch of assassins from a bunch of different places go attack the person. That's why I love the Gray Man book so much, because that's what it was. For this one, that's the same thing, and it's just very fun, very well done, very well stylized action, just to make for one of the most entertaining action movies of the year. It's a Netflix movie. It's obviously got major writing problems, but just for what it is, a Netflix movie with not that big budget, I just had a blast with it. 20, kicking off our top 20, Orphan First Kill. This movie is messed up, brother. Wow, this movie is messed up. Not only does it have a romance between a kid that this dad thought she adopted, but it also, it spoils a twist that there was in the first one. It was just very jarring and very creepy. And Esther is just a very creepy villain. And it's just one of the most weirdest movies I've ever seen. I was very weirded out watching this one. I was like, it's creepy. That's weird. But that's what makes it unique. Is it's just weirdness to go for it. At the insane plot that who is thinking of this? Who is thinking of a girl that is actually an adult but looks like a 12-year-old? Who is just thinking about this? This is absolutely horrifying and absolutely terrifying. Then there's a twist in here that just adds to the craziness. This is just one of those movies that is absolutely memorable, absolutely fun, absolutely stupid. And that's what this is. That's what memorializes it from the rest. I had fun with this one. Obviously, it's not perfect, but Orphan First Kill is just this really stupid, goofy movie that is honestly kind of scary in a way. 19, Uncharted. This is a movie that the first time I saw it, I almost fell asleep, and I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm gonna watch that again. very glad I did, because this movie is just an absolute blast. Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland, a lot of people are crapping on them because they don't feel like the dude in Sully, Nathan Drake in Sully, and I can understand that. I know for a fact after playing The Last of Us that Naughty Dog makes excellent games, but I found them to be a lot of fun together. The action is just fun, and it's just a global treasure hunting movie. You can't just think of this as a serious movie. I sat back and I had an absolute blast watching Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland beat bad guys up. There's a twist here that is just like, oh, yeah, that happened in the movie. And it's just a very fun video game movie. And I'm sure if I loved Uncharted video games, I would hate this movie. But for me, I've never played them. I thought this movie was just an absolute blast as a fun treasure hunting movie for Nathan Drake and Sully. Just a fun movie. That's what this one is. Marry Me. Marry Me is what we're going with next in number 18. Marry Me is a movie that I saw and I was like, that was actually pretty good. And it's weird because it's a typical rom-com with not a single thing special about the movie, but it just manages to be a fun movie. I don't know why. Maybe it was the fact that I got a job and I didn't really have time to watch movies. And in 2022, after 2021, I kind of got out of the movie scheme, kind of got out of YouTube, and I told myself I'm getting back into YouTube. And maybe because of that, maybe because I started enjoying movies again, and now you see how much my channel grew from like 51 subscribers to we're almost to 80. From that, I just had fun with it. I watched it with my mom and brother. It was a fun movie. I don't have anything to say about it besides Owen Wilson was pretty good in it. J-Lo was kind of cringy, but she was alright. But it's just a movie that is there, and that's okay, because it managed to be a fun movie for me and my family to watch. That's what movies are supposed to be, is just a movie to experience with your family, and it was fun. That's why it's in my top 20. One of the movies that I don't necessarily feel like deserve to be in the top 20, just for what my experience with it was, it is in the top 20. Number 17, Ambulance, Michael Bay's newest film. And in a way, this movie is just absolutely crazy. It's got great action, great wild scenes. It's absolutely nuts. There's an emotional ending. But Michael Bay really does make you exhausted with all his movies, because he's got drone shots, crazy action sequences, crazy everything. This one, in a way, kind of seemed balanced, kind of, as in a way, like, it was still crazy, but crazy in a less way. But it was still, it still had Michael Bay, but it felt like less Michael Bay, and that was a good thing, because sure, it's got the crazy Jake Gyllenhaal singing... I'm all singing while they're being chased. It's got the exhausting elements here, but it's got cool action. It's got a cool story. It's got a lot of things about this movie. It's just Michael Bay, one of Michael Bay's best, I think. I think it is Michael Bay's best. Now, I can barely remember anything that happened because I watched it so long ago. But I really did think Ambulance was one of Michael Bay's better movies, and it left me feeling less like, Michael Bay sucks, and more like, yeah, that was a pretty intriguing movie for Michael Bay to be making. Next up, The Bad Guys, DreamWorks' first movie in my top 20. And The Bad Guys is just a movie that is very fun. It's got a great voice cast, fantastic animation, and the story and twists as we go along just keep getting better and better. There's some emotional moments. There's some very good voice acting, very cool action. DreamWorks is just one of these studios that just makes underrated movies over and over again. And The Bad Guys was just a very fun, animated film that I could just sit back and have a blast with. And yeah, like I said, I've seen this one so long ago that I can barely remember what happens in the movie. All I know is great voice cast, great action, great animation. DreamWorks makes phenomenal movies. This is not as near as good as their newest one. I just felt that this one was just an absolute blast to watch on Blu-ray after a day of work. Very fun animation movie. Very good for what I actually expected it to be. Vengeance is next. Vengeance, the movie set in Texas, and this one was just an absolute blast. I don't live in Texas, but I'm a big football fan, and so, like, the whole scene where they're at the rodeo and they start shouting out, "Who's a Texas fan?" And the guy goes crazy, who's a Texas A&M fan? And everyone goes crazy. That was just very funny. And I just went to Texas like a couple weeks ago, and going to Texas, I can 100% see that this movie nails. Like, going to Texas made me think of this movie. This movie nails what Texas is, and I love it in that way. And, of course, the whole cast here is great. BJ Novak is great, and it does kind of like a murder mystery to where the end reveals were a little disappointing, but it was still really fun. It's a very fun movie that commentates on real life. It commentates on everything that happens in Texas, while also showing an interesting murder mystery, very interesting things along the way, to where, especially if you live in Texas, you are going to love this one. I really thought that Vengeance was really a very interesting movie as a whole. Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery, and this is one of two, well, like 4 movies on this list in this video that I have never talked about on my channel. Now, with Glass Onion, Knives Out Mystery, it's because I didn't watch it until 2 weeks back, and I have it scheduled for right after this video. This and The Fabelmans is going to be my next reviews, my next video as a whole. But for this one, at first, I was like, this is okay. Everyone has layers. And so I totally understand that Glass Onion thing, because, say it, Shrek, onions have layers. That's right. I totally understood that. But sitting back and thinking about this one, it just didn't really get into the murder mystery till we got to the middle, to where it kind of throws a plot hole, kind of like trying to change the game like they did in Knives Out. And that didn't really work to begin off with. But I'm glad it kept going and going, because the more we got to the reveals, the more the reveals were interesting, the more of what was actually happening here was interesting. Sitting back, I'm like, Rian Johnson, you're a freaking genius. This is what Rian Johnson could do well, is make murder mystery movies that aren't really mysteries, they just give you the answers. And that's really fun, and everything made sense. There are some kills here that really work. The ending, where we find out the kills, and it just goes off the roof, that I found was absolutely fun and absolutely crazy. It was just a very fun movie. Comparing this to Knives Out, Rian Johnson's first movie, it's not a good movie. Comparing it to any other murder mystery movie, it's just a good murder mystery movie that is intriguing. Not as near as good as Knives Out. It's kind of disappointing in a way. I just really had fun with it. The cast here was great. The writing was great. And the way that Rian Johnson in any murder mystery can do is just flip everything on its head. I just think is pure genius of the man. And this movie was pure genius in a way. Their second Marvel special, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. In a way, this was in my top 10 for the longest time. And I booted it out. I booted it out of the top 10. Because I just really didn't feel like putting a 50-minute special ahead of a lot of other movies was that fair. But I didn't put it low because James Gunn crafts a perfect movie with this. They had every right in the world to make this a movie to push it on Disney+. Just a stupid movie. They had every right to do that. What they did was make it emotional with fantastic performances, emotional moments, very funny, very heartfelt. James Gunn proves once again that everything that he does here, he makes it to where he is putting full care into it. And I can 100% respect James Gunn. And this was the movie that made me turn around and go, James Gunn is 100% the man for the DC job. Because if he could make a short 50-minute special, make me feel this emotional, this happy, about Christmas time, get you in the Christmas spirit, and instantly just become a holiday classic, you 100% just gotta sit back and be, James Gunn is a genius. He had every right to make this a bad movie. Did he? No, he made this a phenomenal movie. And it's not up higher because I didn't want to put it in front of these other movies that I do feel like are pure genius and do belong here. But that's just what I put out here because, being honest, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, just heartfelt and phenomenal. The Batman is next, and I know what you're thinking. The Batman isn't in your top 10? I thought you would have loved The Batman. And in a way, I didn't really feel enjoyed by the movie. It was a little too long. It dragged on in some places. But you just gotta stop and think of the world that they built. Matt Reeves built a world where we don't have to sit back and be like, Batman is a character that no one knows about. That's right, no one knows about Batman. He didn't do that. He goes, everyone knows about Batman. So let's create characters that we already know, give them intriguing story arcs in a way that makes it feel like the second movie. But it's not the second movie. It's the first movie, and it feels great because we don't have to have introductions. We get the characters, we get the action, we get the epic world building. It feels like a lived-in world. This is just a movie that I cannot wait to see more of Matt Reeves' world because of how phenomenal his world building was. And just being honest, I didn't enjoy it as much as I should. Like I said, it does go on a little too long. But you just gotta sit back and respect what Matt Reeves can do in a Batman movie. Give the Matt Reeves more movies. He just creates a perfect world with this one. Jurassic World Dominion. Okay, throw your hate comments. I know a lot of people are gonna get mad at me because I put Jurassic World Dominion in front of a bunch of these movies. Get dinosaurs on a planet. I like it either way. Now, originally this was like number 5 on my list because getting out of the theater, I absolutely love this one. I 100% understood its problems that everyone had, but I just loved it because, like I said, get dinosaurs on an island eating people. I love the carnage, I love the chaos, but rewatching it, the problems are really relevant. You could have the whole world and you just stick to one specific part of the world, as what my best friend says. He's also a big fan of the franchise, and I could just understand everyone's problem with it. But I went on a date, I had an absolute blast. Jurassic World Dominion is just an absolute blast for me. It's a definite guilty pleasure movie for me. Like, at one part, it turns into Fast and Furious with dinosaurs. Like, wow. Just putting that in a sentence makes me want to jump up and down with joy. But I just think people go too harsh on it and don't see it for what it is, which is a Jurassic World movie where dinosaurs eat people. And having it about locusts, like, a lot of the movie was really stupid. But even, like, I love it when characters from previous movies meet new characters, and that's what happens here. I just had an absolute blast with this one, and like I said, I can 100% understand your problems with the movie. Just for me, it's like 100% guilty pleasure is Jurassic World Dominion. And you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen? It is time, number 10. This counts out the best of the best of the best of the best 2022 movies, and I cannot wait to share this with you. Number 10, The Fabelmans. And I know what you're saying, The Fabelmans should be higher, especially because of some of the other movies I got on this list that are higher, but The Fabelmans is just a movie. And it's just so personal to Spielberg, to where, in my opinion, Spielberg is like this director that he makes great movies. A lot of them I'm not like loving. But this one, he just creates a personal story with everything that a great director should, which is excellent camera angles, excellent writing, excellent performances, and just makes the movie just be emotional and resonate with me, who wants to be a filmmaker, to where there are very big emotional moments in the movie and amazing story. And like I said, just a personal film for Spielberg, to where you sit back and you're like, Spielberg does it again. He just makes an emotional movie. Very good. The cast here, like I said, very good. Paul Dano is in this as the dad, and he's just phenomenal. Has the most emotional moments. The kid, very good. Seth Rogen is in this movie. He's just kind of there, but just his whole cast just makes it feel like a family and a tragedy, and it's just so emotional, so well done, that I just 100% come out here and say, you must watch this movie for Spielberg, supporting him, because he just makes an emotional movie, what Spielberg should do. 9, Turning Red. And I know what you're thinking, Turning Red, isn't that a movie for girls? Shut up. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a movie for girls. Okay, there, you got your laughs in. No, but with Turning Red, I very much enjoyed this movie because not only is it just a fun story about a young girl who could turn into a panda, just wrecking havoc and having a very fun moment and ending with very emotional moments. It's emotional along the way too. Personal problems with me as a teenager, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like, that shit's got emotional. And I know what you're thinking. You're emotioning with a teenage girl? You're a loser. No, you know what I'm talking about here. There are some emotions here that just really stand out and really just bring this film above the rest. It's just, that's what really helps this movie out. My favorite movies in this are Brave and Turning Red. And if you've seen both of the movies, you know what I'm talking about here. That emotional area that this film has. It's got great animation, it's got a fun story, it's got the power of friendship, it's got some emotional moments, like I said already. The voice cast here is great. It's just another Pixar banger that people are just saying it's a failure. I come out here and say it's a masterpiece. It's just another very fun Pixar movie. And sure, it does end with the young girl shaking her butt at her mom. It's kind of cringe. But it's just got, like I said, emotional moments. And if you make me get the feels, I'm obviously going to come out in here and say it's a good movie. And so Turning Red was a good movie. Number 8, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. That is the latest DreamWorks movie, and it is so good. I am not kidding. The animation, the voice cast, the action, everything about this movie is phenomenal, all the way down to the T. Not only is Florence Pugh one of the best actresses to ever live in this movie, but Antonio Banderas does good. All the characters, they each get their own moment to shine. And if you sit back and you think, this was a movie about people searching for the last wish. How is this so good? It's basically just like a mediocre movie. But the way they combine the animation with the emotions with Puss in Boots and what he's going through, with the villain of death being absolutely terrifying. Just another absolute banger. And I don't know why, but I just absolutely loved it and could not get enough of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because everything about this movie is stunning. It's one of the rare movies that I will give an A+ to. It's the only movie, well, out of 3 movies in my top 10, it's one of the only ones that I will give an A+ to, just because they combine everything so great that I love about the Shrek franchise, and tease that Shrek might be coming back, which excites me very much in my soul. I just think this movie is phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal. And it's easily one of the best animated movies of the year. It's just 100% an A+ movie. You gotta check this one out now. Everything about it is great. And like I said, almost the best animated movie of the year, because my favorite animated movie of the year is Lightyear. And sitting back, you gotta think, this isn't necessarily what Andy would have saw. And it was a problem in my review that this did not feel like what Andy would have saw. But this does not feel what Andy would have saw. This is trying to get kids to experience what Andy would have saw. Because it brings a whole new light to it. Because it's just like, kids would watch this one and be like, I want a Buzz Lightyear. That was a cool sci-fi movie. That's exactly what Andy felt. And that's exactly what it was. And that's how I felt too, was that this was a very cool sci-fi movie with great action, great voice cast, great everything. And it's just, if you just think like that and not like, this ain't the movie that Andy would have saw, I'm a stupid millennial. Yeah, that's not the movie Andy would have saw. It's the movie that kids would see. And like I said, the action here is great. The twist here is pretty good. If you just get a Pixar movie in this template with sci-fi action, like a Star Wars movie that I really want, it's just an absolute blast of a film. That's what this is an absolute blast of a movie with very great action scenes, very great everything. Lightyear is just a movie that I cannot recommend more. I was very scared to watch this one because I heard it was terrible. It's not terrible. It's just a very fun sci-fi action movie. It's one that I 100% recommend. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is a movie that feels like it was adapted straight from a comic book story. You know, like, you get these comic book stories where people cross over. Happens all the time. This feels like one of them. Feels like it's pulled straight from the comics. And for that, it's very fun. It's very creepy. Sam Raimi has excellent touch in this movie. He puts his touch all over it to where there's very creepy moments, and for that I can just really respect it, because it's the first MCU horror movie that feels like it was just pulled straight from a comic. Everybody knows the story. It just feels like an instant cult classic for this movie. Plus, it was a first date, and so obviously I really had fun there. And so Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is just a very fun Doctor Strange movie, very creepy, Sam Raimi's touch. Sam Raimi's a great director. That's what this is. A horror Marvel movie. As a fan, I cannot get more excited. Top 5. Violent Night. The movie about Santa Claus murdering people. That's what this is. And it's very fun. It's a very, very good movie. Not only is all of the cast here just absolutely stunning, to where they just feel like this family that's absolutely hilarious, but the action here is brutal. David Harbour is phenomenal, but you gotta talk about the mix between Die Hard and Home Alone. Very fun movie. It's a very fun instant holiday classic. I saw it twice this year in December, twice in less than a month, because this movie is just an absolute blast, absolute goofball of a movie. This is just a holiday classic with phenomenal performances, phenomenal action, phenomenal everything. It's just one of the movies that is my personal guilty pleasure, because I just enjoyed this one so much. Place, nope. I got the steelbook right here. Look how cool this steelbook looks. It's a very cool steelbook. And this is one that, as the course of the movie was going on, I sat back and I was like, you know, I'm not sure if I like this, but it just keeps getting creepier and creepier, and just feels like a very cinematic experience, to where this is one of the movies on the list that I just cannot believe that exists. Not only is the cast absolutely phenomenal, but the horrors and what this is and what Jordan Peele's warped mind made about this movie, it was just absolutely fun. It's a movie that I love rewatching, absolutely creepy, and like, it was storming on our way home, storming on the way up there. You know, a movie about the sky being a kill, like being a murderer, aliens and storms and such, absolutely crazy. It's just got the most craziest ideas that I just could not stop thinking about this one for days, and still I cannot stop thinking about this one. It's like Get Out. Like, the more you think about it, the better it gets, because of what his writing was. Us was a mishap in Jordan Peele's career, because it tries to take way too many plot lines and could just combine them here. For Nope, it just gets back on track what Get Out did. Makes it 10 times better. Makes it interesting, scary. This is exactly what it was. An excellent theater experience. I cannot recommend Nope more. And out of all 4 of these movies, I think this is the one that I would recommend to you the most personally, is Nope. Because I just absolutely love the movie and what Jordan Peele does with it. Next up, Scream. And I got the steelbook for that one right here. I got this for my birthday. Shout out my mom. Scream 5. And like I said many times before, Scream 1, Scream 5, and, well, Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 5. That should just be a trilogy right there. And this perfectly proves it, because, I mean, not only is this movie absolutely fun, but it's got great kills, it's got great reveals, and like I said when I was talking about Jurassic World Dominion earlier in this video, it's absolutely wild when you sit back and you talk about it. Like, you just realize that characters from the previous franchise meet new characters. I absolutely love it when that happens, because they all have great interactions. It's very funny. And like I said, the kills were great. The reveals were even better. It's just a classic, another Scream movie that just should have capped off a trilogy. I'm very nervous for Scream 6. Watch my video, second channel again, more ZMC. Go subscribe to that one. I'm very nervous about Scream 6, because I just feel like the franchise should have ended with Scream 5. But Scream 5, just an absolutely blast of a movie. It's got the best cold opening in the whole franchise, I think, besides Scream 1. It's just a very great movie. Cannot be more grateful for the steelbook of these 2 phenomenal movies. Top 2, my runner-up for best freaking movie of the year. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. You guys really thought that one would be first. You guys they really thought that one would be first, didn't they, Tom Cruise? Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the multiverse of madness. It's absolutely fun. It's got absolute great action. It's got absolute great emotions. It does run a bit too long, but sitting back and thinking about it, like, you just cannot believe that a movie with this amount of star talent and this amount of emotional story and this amount of being an original story exists, because I sure can't. It's got great emotions that really rely on everything that the human emotion has. They cast absolutely perfect. The action sequences absolutely stunning. It's just got so many scenes and just got so many stuff thrown in the movie that is just like, this is just the most unique experience you'll ever have watching a movie. 100% with Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it's not only a multiverse movie, but it's got the emotions, it's got the crazy scenes. This is one of the craziest movies ever. I'm here for it. A24 handles this movie absolutely perfectly. But in case you couldn't tell by my nod to Tom Cruise over there, number 1 best movie of 2022 goes to you, my buddy. You, Top Gun Maverick, get best movie of the year. Not only did I love this one, instantly walking out, like I just could not stop thinking about it, but due to the success that it has been having over the whole year of 2022, due to that success, it's just absolutely nuts how much of a success that the movie is, how great the movie is. It's just a classic movie already, with emotions, great action, great everything. I was not a fan of Top Gun. After watching Top Gun Maverick, I am just a big Top Gun fan. I'm hyped for Top Gun 3. Please come out, because Top Gun Maverick's just a great movie that has the best success, 100% deserves everything it got. That and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything that those two movies got, it deserves. It very much deserves that spot. And so Top Gun Maverick, congrats. Yep, I still have not seen Elvis. I still have not seen Barbarian. I still have not seen The Menu. And I've still not seen Avatar: The Way of Water. Once I watch all those, I will do reviews on my second channel, most likely, and fill you in on what spots they will get in on my 2022 ranking, and whatever 2022 movies I've seen. Obviously, I've not seen all of them, but I do got a bunch more videos coming out. This video's overran 30 minutes, and so, yeah, a bunch more videos coming out. Subscribe to this, subscribe to my new channel, more ZMC. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Stay tuned. With that said, thank you for staying here for my 2022 movie ranking, and with that said, peace out.